Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 350th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, October 15th, 2020. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Kremd. I'll be a host today. And of course, we are joined with Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, and he will be explaining today's workshop and perhaps introducing some new beginnings. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to go with today's show? Hello, Mr. Keshe. Maybe he's not quite ready yet.
Hello, yes, good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of Keshe Foundation. I was trying to get in, it's just that you put me on mute, I couldn't get break in, that's why I couldn't get in. Thank you very much for today. As we announced last week that Keshe Foundation is launching that every city will have one system of enhancement unit, and this will be part of our work from now on to make sure every citizen on this planet has the right to receive the benefit of this technology. Many of you have been trying to raise funds to meet the minimum demand of the work of the foundation. And in that process, you have worked or you're trying to find other people to participate. To make this easier for all the knowledge seekers, we advise you to do as we've done with the others, to just go to the Keshe Foundation website where the enhancement unit is and put what you want to put for a unit for the country you want to participate. And as people from different parts of the world and different cities of the same area would like to participate in that, we add it up and we tell you what it is. The Keshe Foundation will make a platform, how much is received from which country, and then you can put how much you want to put in and the way it goes. Maybe you live in another country, but you want a system somewhere else. So we try to develop a way that we all participate in it. On the other hand, the work of the foundation carries on the same. As we know, and if you have been in the past two teachings of the American teachings, the Persian teachings, and one planet, one race, one nation, Keshe Foundation, as we said, from 21st of this month, which is from next week, will go into a new phase, 5-month phase of a deep space teaching. That's what we said. The teaching will change. And what this means is that the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers will be able to be taught, and we think we have reached that level of understanding for all of us, the way to survive in space. It is easy to fly. It is easy. It is easy to take off and go somewhere. But what is the outcome of going somewhere? What would you see? How would you survive? How you interact with the environment? What is the purpose of this travel? What is going to happen to your body? what is going to happen to the environment you arrive. The way we care what we do on this planet, when we arrive in a destination, our presence can be a joy and adding to, or our presence with the field we carry, with the amino acid strength we carry, can be a poison to the citizens of the position. We do not get there to learn. We have to learn before we get there. And this is the purpose of the teachings in the next 5 months. As I was explaining to some knowledge seekers, what happens to your body? Your amino acid has a hydrogen combination, has a nitrogen combination. And in a given destination, nitrogen is in the form of liquid. Nitrogen cannot exist. The magnetic field of the nitrogen is something which the position does not create. Does your life end? Or you don't enter? Or you enter a position that it brings demise of your life? Or other conditions? This is the purpose of the teaching from now on, in preparing mankind to be able to survive in the span of the universe. This is why we taught you the making of the 5 cups, for you to become aware of the interaction of the fields of the environment, the interaction of the materials of the environment, the strength of your own existence and material and the fields which you are created out of. Now you understand where the extension and the merger of the teachings come together. Many of it, for many of you, will be theoretical teaching because you cannot see it. But in entering the enhancement units, in traveling with the systems which are equipped with the enhancement units, makes life, understanding of life, understanding of the living in the depth of the space, essential. You got to realize that mankind has become, in the past years, travel of its own space by aircrafts, travel of space by going to the moon, and now travels of the space by being able to go beyond the boundary with the gaining of the new knowledge. We lay down the foundation for this work. We lay down the foundation for man to be able to travel in the depth of space. And this is the reason we brought you the understanding of gravity, magnetic field, inertia, the physicality of yourself, what energies hold your physicality together in communication with each other, which you call the soul of physicality, and a total field interaction of your physicality, what we call the soul of the man, with this environment. You got to realize, as many of you have not understood, your soul is the solar system of your existence. Your physicality is that earth, is that moon, is that Saturn within that structure. And now that man becomes a partner in depth of the space with the universal community to explore every corner of this universe, man needs to know what is there for it to be ready to see, to fulfill, to protect, and to be as one with the rest of the creation of the Creator. You will see that the development of the new technology makes it essential for all those who take steps to leave this planet to understand that they need a next step, next structure, next development in protecting the soul of the man and the environment that the soul can exist within the new environment that the man arrives in. We don't put you in a spacesuit. You make yourselves environment that your soul can exist, protected, but at the same time being able to survive, collaborate, and enjoy different conditions of the universe. The development of the new deep space technology from now on for the next 5 months will bring mankind ready to be able not only to take off from this planet, not only go to the moon, not only go to the Mars, not only go to beyond other stars and galaxies, but to be able to walk on them, to be able not only be trapped in the spacesuit or in the spaceship, but learn how to change the characteristics, mutation of his own soul strength, that it can exist and operate without the environment. All these knowledge takes man centuries to understand. But in the teaching of today and in coming time, we will lay the foundation for it. As I explained to some of the knowledge seekers in past recent time, when you go to the space and you are fed and you are given the energies that you keep the dimension of your physicality, would you need a blood circulation? Would you need the eyesight to see? Would you need the ear to hear? Do you need the stomach, the liver, and the kidney? When you have no blood to operate, is there a need for the heart of the man? Then where does the soul of physicality go? Those we see who travel the depth of the universe and land on the shores of this planet have been through it. In so many ways, they adopt, they transmute into the shape of the man. Then they land on this planet, not to change when they arrive. In so many ways, as you want to become a marathon runner, you go through the training to learn how to do, how to run, where to stop, and what to take care of. Those who travel the shores of this planet, and we see them in the form of mainly human shape, or those near to human shape, they have gone through the transmutation of their souls prior to landing on this planet. Mankind needs to learn that. Mankind needs to learn to use the strength of his soul to the strength of the survival of the position, to conversion of the shape of the man, to the dimension of the physicality of his existence. Which means you will exist in the environment, prepared for it. As you wear a spacesuit to go to space, you change the conversion of the strength of the soul to fit the environment of the earth when you land. Which that enforces by itself 2 legs, 2 arms, an eye look. But in a way, you live through the eye of the soul of the presence. Mankind has not moved in the first step to understand its soul, let alone to be able to use mutation of the strength of his soul to convert itself to the existence of the position and the presence. These are the teachings which will come in the coming months. Many of it very radical. Many of it you have never heard of, but you have to, and you have to be prepared if you see the future of the man in a deep space. There is no end to the resources of the creation. In the coming time, we will show how you can produce any elements, as we have shown before. We will show how you can overcome any diseases, which is amino acid based, and any change in the strength of the fields as viruses. And then in this process, mankind learns how to use the energy of the universe for its own existence, for interaction of the fields, for confirmation of his presence of his soul. Mankind has to learn 2 fundamental points as he's aware, but he needs to understand. One is how to create interaction with the soul of its physicality, with the soul of itself. That in interaction of the two and the interaction of the third creates the condition of the existence in the presence of the dimension of the field. Which means if mankind learns to take the soul of physicality without the dimension of physical dimension, then in interaction with his soul and as a solar system in interaction with the soul of the environment, man will fit into any dimension in the universe. In the back end of the 5 months, I will introduce physical systems that mankind can go through the transmutation. In the latter part of the development, you'll be introduced to systems that you have never seen, but they'll become part of the norm of the space travel. The teaching in the coming weeks will be so advanced that many of you will not be able to follow, and it'll take many of you months, years, and centuries of understanding through your development of the consciousness of the existence of your soul and your children and your offsprings. The teachings of coming months is not for instantaneous absorption and understanding, but is the guideline and a message for the travelers of the future on Earth and beyond. As I said to the Iranian knowledge seekers, we are the messengers of the universe, not the Mahdi or Messiah. If that's what you see we thought, that's the shortcoming of your own understanding. As we are, as we said from the beginning, we are the messengers of the universe. We carry the knowledge of the creation from the beginning to the end. We manifest ourselves in physicality of the man and speak the language of the man. But in essence, we are not. We are the soul from the soul of the Creator. And we teach according to the knowledge of the space, time, in the language of the place as messiahs, be it Christ, Muhammad, or Jesus, or Moses, or whatever you call. But in essence, we are the messengers of the universe, which means we teach what the races how to learn to exist within the span of the universe. Each planet, each solar system is like a little village with their own tradition and their own ways. And messengers of the universe, we bring all to understand one common language and speak and behave in that dimension. My work to complete the work of the past messengers is completed. And now my true essence and the reason we came will be taught in the coming months. How to take man and humanity from the village of the earth and teach it how to become a citizen of the universe. Up to now, we completed what Moses, Muhammad, and Christ and other scientists on this planet did not complete, that we bring you to the platform, zero platform, of the knowledge of the universe. Teachings from next week on will be very much in the depth of the understanding of the motion of the oceans of the fields of the universe. How would you like to come out of? As a mermaid, as a fish, or as a man? You choose. From now on, if you learn that dimension, living on this planet will become easier because your understanding of the higher order becomes the norm. You played with Ganses, you played with everything else, But ask yourself, why did we teach this? Why did we bring it this way? Why have we introduced enhancement units? Why have we introduced new understanding of the new physics, chemistry, biology as a collective one science? Is mankind who has pigeonholed his level of understanding. Single interactions have become a physicist, and double interactions have become chemists, and triple extractions and fourth have become biologists. But in essence, there is all one. As I said to the Iranian community, you keep your Mahdi and Messiahs, that's your job. But understand what is to come and evolve, that you can survive the span of the universe as your soul, or interaction of your soul of physicality and the soul of the man as one being across the span of the universe. Mankind has not managed to overcome what they call zero gravity, a few kilometers away from itself in what they call the space ramp. Mankind has not managed to walk on the surface of the moon without equipment. Mankind has not managed even to reach moon in the instantaneous existence of both dimensions of Earth and the moon. And it still needs days and days to travel to reach even to the closest object to this planet. Now teaching the man to be able to travel the span of the universe in a snap of a finger is very far-fetching. But in time to come, those who elevate in the knowledge of the universe will show the others. The true job of now taking mankind into universal community starts in the coming weeks, as we promised. And the knowledge will be very sweet, very short, but in depth, that it needs the true understanding and unraveling the, what we call the essence of the creation in the dimension of interaction of the fields of the universe. And those who elevate to understand how its order meets their creator in essence of their soul. Now, in the coming weeks, coming months, we make you to understand and comprehend. We teach you and guide you to be able to go through the transmutation of the energies of the universe. We'll show you through enhancement centers how you will interact, how you will come in touch with the men of the universe, with the creatures of the Creator. Some of the enhancement units in the specific positions with collaboration of the governments will be made as a point of interaction between the governments and the system of the universe. As I said in Universal One Planet, One Nation teaching, will bring the world leaders to negotiate the path through for the full interaction and interface between the humanity and universal community within the coming months. And as I said, the interim course and interim people who we trust that will see this transaction through will be the members of the Universal Council, the Earth Council, and the Motions who've been elevated to that point. The true work of the what we call very few becomes apparent in the coming time. We will manifest in some of the enhancement units the presence of those who you call aliens, that we can see them, we trust them, and in the process, within the structure of the enhancement units, we create a condition that the soul of the man meets with the soul of the presence of the man of the space within these systems. We make the enhancement units a point of interaction. where we create a condition for existence support lives of the man and men of the universe in the true essence of their creation, to negotiate, to understand, and make the path easy for the rest of the humanity to go through the process of what we call the unification of the soul of the man with the rest of the universe. We will appoint a number of world leaders we trust to head these negotiations through the Universal Council members. As I said, many world leaders will go into these units and become the negotiators between the man and the universal community. If you understand, we announced the 5-seater systems. That's not for the flight of the man into the positions of this planet, but it's there as a point for the leaders of this planet to meet with the leaders of the universal community appointed delegations to negotiate the path, to teach the man the way, to change the behavior of the animals on this planet, to change the condition that the earth become a peaceful planet without the need for abuse, a planet without the leadership, a planet where every man leads their own lives. The enhancement units which you place in different parts of this planet is the way that we elevate the soul of this planet, that the man in totality can come in interface with the reality of his own existence and universal community. If the world leaders decide to put all divisions and make one nation of this planet, they'll be taught the knowledge that brings prosperity and peace and wealth of the wisdom of the knowledge to every citizen of this planet. Not only man, but those who live here amongst us, as different names we have chosen for them, as the lions and the lamb. The teachings and demonstration of the use of the enhancement unit for point of meeting by the world leaders and universal community will be extended to the point that most of the citizens of this planet will become part of it, because their soul creates part of the soul of the creation of this planet. In so many ways, as I said in other teachings, mankind will move in a totally different direction in the coming weeks and months, where financial structure man has created will have no meaning. The cities that you have built will become a place of history where the man lives, where his soul is happy, where the man is in love with giving and taking from the creation and the creator. In so many ways, we will turn on the speed up, as in 5 months, to teach mankind the first alphabet of the life in the universe needs a lot of understanding. Devotion to peace, devotion to unity, and devotion to be able to accept what comes from the beauty of the joining such a vast ocean of knowledge, which is being kept away from man by the man's misconduct itself. What would be the outcome of all these works depends primarily on knowledge seekers who have been in the forefront, those who have taken steps to make sure the knowledge, not only through the term of physicality, but through the soul of the man has a spirit in equal fairness and justice. What we have taught you is in fact the structure of your own existence in the universe. Do not forget, I made man in the image of myself. And this image has to live both the dimension of physicality and the soul. And mankind will be taught how to be able to use his physical dimension for existence of his soul in many dimensions. Loving becomes part of the life. Living is to love. And this means giving unconditionally, not only for the human race, but beyond. As I've said many times, I have no fear of leaving the physical dimension of the body of the man. But the responsibility is there to teach, to complete the mission that one can live in peace. And in the coming weeks and months, we'll teach that way. We will shake the cornerstones of the creation of the life on this planet, the structures you set as citizens, your banking system, your social structures, your health, where no man will get sick anymore, as on the primary energy transfers will bring the balance to the soul and the physicality. This is what man has never learned and has been in fear of his existence. He has made temples and statues and worshipped different lights to safeguard from it, but he never understood he could use his own soul as the light of the existence to overcome. We have taught you many things in a very simple way that as many people could learn. We have shown you many things. From now on, those were there for you to complete, to understand your own structure, your own working. Now you learn about the working of the universe, where the light of the existence, what you call the soul of the man, is the cornerstone of every existence and every dimension. Mankind will learn to exist in different dimensions. In so many ways. Rick, can you allow me into the second channel entry, please? I cannot share the screen on the second
channel. Just trying to see, maybe Stanley can help with that. We've got asked to unmute. Is that what you like? Or you need to have allow panelists to start the video. Is that what you need?
It's okay. It's opened up.
Okay.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. In so many ways, mankind has to understand the next step in evolution, an evolution of the soul of the man, and with it, to understand the position of the soul of the man. And in that process, mankind has to become evolved in knowledge, in the new knowledge, in new technologies, which is unknown. But in that process, we try to teach both. In so many ways, the soul of a man becomes images of the physicality of the man, but not the physical existence. Our soul becomes another star in the totality of the creation. But in essence, it might keep the image of its origin, where man stays in total transparency of the fields without the dimension of physical existence. If we look in the depth of the oceans of the life and physicality of the man, every organ of the man has a center point, which creates the condition for its life. And in that process, it creates to be like a star. If we take the physical structure of the man, the way we see it, and keep these points, the center points, the stars, the soul of the kidney, the liver, the heart, and the rest, what we see nothing but a galaxy of stars. Different strength, but in fact, in totality, very much the shape of the man. In essence, humanity or mankind would see himself, his physicality, as another galaxy, a collection of stars. And by feeding from the soul to each cell, to each star, can change the condition. Then mankind will find that the life becomes indefinite. Life becomes immortal. But man, to live that life, he needs to understand the work of the fields of the universe. Interesting time ahead for the man and mankind to open new universities, to open new institutes, to learn more about the energy fields of his life and his existence in the universe, and spend time and contemplate on how these energies can be used not only for the benefit of the mankind, but the citizens of the universe. In a coming time, many of you in my lifetime will embrace many of those who you call aliens, with love and care the way you do with your lovers, your children, and your parents. As you realize we're all made of the same, and we all participate in one dimension and direction for everlasting confirmation of the existence of the Creator, nothing else. In the coming weeks, we will show new materials. In the coming weeks, we show you materials which belong to the deepest space and never seen on this planet, for man to learn new ways, to bring new, what I call the beauty of the man, what you call industrialization, the application of the new knowledge for the benefit of the others. This is one of the beauties of the mankind, that it can convert the knowledge to an existing formation of the things that can enjoy and can be used by the others to enjoy. Small tools or to the most advanced systems in the universe. In a way, mankind beauty and ability to be able to change and convert the knowledge of the universe into systems and equipments that others can be enjoyed is the cornerstone and the beauty of this race. Not only loving, but being able to translate, add, and conform and confirm different ways of enjoying the beauty of what has been created. Industrial revolution in the level of the universe will create so much joy and bring so many to this planet that the earth will become the cornerstones of what we call industrialization of the universe, for them to see and confirm the beauty of the existence of the Creator and nothing else. Mankind does not only have the ability to love, but has the ability to convert their knowledge into physical things, as you call it, the cars and the others. But in the universe, this is a rarity. It's a very rare thing to find races who do these things. Majority of the races use the energy fields to transfer. Mankind has the beauty of translating and transferring materials into physical, tangible beauty. This is why many travelers of the universe come to this planet to love and learn what you call industrialization, what we call the conversion of the thoughts and the fields of the Creator into beautiful objects that can be enjoyed across the universe, where they can be shown. Interpretation of the change of the fields to physical dimensions of anything is one of the beauties of the man's race. And in one way or another, this race going much faster in that direction, in the dimension of understanding of the conversion and creation, than any other race in the universe. Maybe this race is blessed by the presence of the Creator in the past decade. Mankind will show its beauty, not only in loving, but in a new dimension to teach. Everything is not bad with this planet, even though it looks to its citizens. We have come to bring peace and prosperity to the race of the man, and in that process seen many harms. but we forgive, but not forget. We teach you how to use the positions in the universe to tap into the energies and materials and the beauties of that point without ever traveling to the point. In a way, you don't deplete, but you make the replication of that position at the point of the presence of the soul of the man. Which means every material in the dimension of the creation will be available to man. Every field will be available to man at the point of the need. The way you tap into and get your copper from Africa into Europe to make your cups, now you do the same, but through the transmutation of the fields from far distant stars. You don't mind, but you transfer energies to create that condition. You use the position as the reference and you create conditions within the structure of your own existence to replicate that field that on earth will show itself in a new condition. We will teach you how the materials that you see in the other parts of the universe to be manufactured and to be used on this planet by creating a field dimension transparent that you can manipulate the material, but they still exist within their own environments, but within the environment of the presence of this planet. What does this mean? Is literally being able to produce the material in a spacesuit where you can put your hand in it, but both exist, the environment of the material for its dimension to confirm and for you to be able to manipulate to show its beauty. In the past few weeks, a number of knowledge seekers who've been enlightened have tested and confirmed with the support of the Keshe Foundation to reaching these mutation points of energies. Many of you will be lost in the maze of the knowledge to come. But if you listen to this knowledge through the soul of your existence, you will receive the knowledge and translate it into the dimension of the soul of physicality if need be. In a way, we leave it recording of the knowledge and teaching within your souls. And it's for you to be able to tap onto it. As a knowledge seeker said, I don't even know where is my soul, let alone trying to work with it. You become aware of your soul when you mature to the point of understanding of devotion and detachment. We will introduce technologies that allows you to coexist with your soul and physicality in the dimension of the fields and not in the dimension of matter state, that you gradually come to understand and operate within the two and convert as need be. Initially, we'll show these in the enhancement units. And then, as you learn how to do it, as I said before, like going to a driving lessons and learning how to drive a car, We will teach you in these enhancement units and the specific construction of them to be able to see, to embrace yourself. I made a promise to one knowledge seeker. You should be able to embrace the soul of your loved ones. To find peace, to find a new dimension of existence. Many of you will be waiting to see the soul of your sons, your wives, your parents, which have departed times ago. In the coming time, we'll be setting up the enhancement units. This become possible. One of the knowledge seekers in the purity of heart has already achieved this. Many other knowledge seekers have touched it, and the strength of it have frightened them. Now this become a norm. As we understand that life is not in the dimension of physicality, but is in the dimension of the soul of the existence, in any position in the universe. As I said, we start laying out what is to come in the next 5 months, before 21st of March 2020, human calendars of Christianity. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And once again, as usual, I remind the attendees they can put their virtual hands up to ask a question. We did have a question in the YouTube from Dynamic Soul, who says, question, Mr. Keshe, if you can use the enhancement unit to interact with the universal community, can you also use it to find people who have been kidnapped and to find the perpetrator?
Yes. This is part of the beauty of this technology. Many world leaders and criminal organizations around the world will fight for their systems not to be shown, as their conduct will be opened up. This is what we said. We bring in the justice by a true operation of the soul. These sharing of the knowledge and technologies will be done. We'll bring it into the court of justice, that no man can lie. As one knowledge seeker said, I cannot lie, you see my soul.
Mr. Keshe, what would happen if someone, a bad guy, tried to use the enhancement unit to find someone to kidnap them, the other way around? Would
This
that be
is not possible.
Yeah, right.
These things you will understand. The wrong intentions will not be possible. Mankind will understand. Because working through the soul, nothing is hidden. As I said before, very soon, courts, prisons, hospitals will be left in the doorrooms of history of the mankind.
Mr. Keshe, we have a good question from Chris Dyke in the YouTube.
This side is a good one.
Okay, that's for sure. He says, the soul is central to the teachings. Can you tell us the levels of soul awareness that one can attain?
All of it depends on your acknowledgement of existence of it. It's you who puts the limitation. We choose the level of the peacefulness. We choose the level of love and care. We choose how much knowledge we want to have.
Speaking of love and care, we have a question from Gatwa, or a hand up from Gatwa.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. I can't hear you very well, but I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I want to thank you very much for your excellent teaching. And I have a question about the application for enhancement unit through Keshe Foundation website. Last week, you had said that those who want for their cities should contribute, and then you see what they have, and then you would match what they contribute and maybe even match them 10 times.
Keshe Foundation is prepared to participate up to 90 to 95% in a special case. We will never meet the 100% commitment. This is one of my principles.
Okay, thank you very much.
Special cases, locations, we will match. We will participate.
Thank you for your generous offer. Now, when we apply
not
online,
the offer, we collectively own the foundation, but we have to manage it.
Yes, thank you for that. When we apply through the website, and you said that we should indicate our countries, then that removes the idea of cities. Because, for example...
No, wait, Dr. Gatwa, we have to make this very clear. Maybe somebody from New York wants to put $1,000, and somebody puts $1,000 from LA. This to us becomes the state of the United States, and collectively Then the Universal Council decides which city will benefit the majority of that nation. Maybe they choose Dallas, that everyone can reach. We look at it as a collectively, and this is why the position of Universal Council and cooperation with the Earth Council does not mean that the capitals will receive the first unit. So when we say one city is one city in the nation.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Any other question? This is why we bring the collaboration of the Earth Council and the Universal Council. Now you understand how forward we have planned everything. We know these things are coming up, so it needs collaboration. If you're a Spanish speaking and you live in Mexico, the Earth Council for South American continent is responsible to negotiate with the Spanish speaking member of the Universal Council, where the two seats fit, plus the bishop, the citizens of that nation. Then the foundation will abide by the wishes. What is interesting and what will be very interesting for many of you is the fact that if you understood the game of the totality, would you participate only for your nation, or you put into the funds for the Universal Council and Earth Council decides where is the priority, or where they want to see the system to be first, that it helps more. Then that brings another point of maturity of the soul. This is when they become citizens of this planet and one, not a nation or a piece of area where we live in. And I was hoping that the knowledge seekers will come to that themselves. In a way, believing in correct conduct and what is needed by the others more than me, and leaving it to the members of the Universal Council and Earth Council into one collective participation of the soul. Do the knowledge seekers want one in the land just because they're working so much and they live there? Or do they see and trust the soul of the Universal Council to decide what is the best for humanity, as the English people can travel to another point till they receive? This is the purpose of the Keshe Foundation. Detachment from nationhood, detachment from physicality. And not many knowledge seekers have matured to that point. I give has to be in my name. I give has to be in my nation. I give has to be in my city. I give the totality of the soul of the universe. Mature to my point and see if you enjoy existence more than what you do. We're not creating another Vatican. We're not creating another Jerusalem. We are not creating another Mecca. We're creating one planet and one universe. And then I wonder how many of you in the coming time think the citizens of that star or that galaxy are in suffering, that we can be there to serve. Man needs to extend his generosity of his soul beyond the dimension of his planet, the solar system, the galaxy, and universe he comes from, the way done by the Creator. Any question?
Yes, we have a question from Wollaston, and he's posted in the YouTube and in the Q&A here, and also as a hand up. So I think we should address it. Yeah, he's from Brazil, and the question is, why is it being said that these 5 glasses alter our DNA? Those people who are talking to disassemble the cups, are they afraid of being exposed? So perhaps we can, if you wish to address that, then we can allow him to speak, and you could talk.
Yeah, let him speak. Let him speak.
Okay. Go ahead.
I made a promise that I wouldn't speak wrong, but I speak the correct way. Why? Let me speak.
Okay. Go ahead, Wollaston.
Olá, bom dia.
Do we have somebody who can translate?
Is it Portuguese?
Yes.
Rafael, can you go ahead?
Hello, can you hear me?
Olá, Rafael. Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Oi, bom dia.
Faz tempo que a gente fala, né? Mas hoje é um dia importante.
Pode fazer sua pergunta, Wallace.
Então, relacionado aos 5 copos, eu quero saber sobre essa questão que foi falado dele alterar o DNA do nosso corpo. Foi relatado, denunciado no privado que alteraria o DNA do corpo humano, e eu queria saber se isso está relacionado justamente a esse pessoal ter medo de ser exposto, né, quando tudo isso acontecer, e queria que ele esclarecesse um pouco mais sobre a função desses 5 copos.
So Wallace would like to know for you, Mr. Keshe, more about the 5 cups, because he received some message in his private that were telling for him to dismantle these 5 cups because this could change our DNA. So my question for you is, these people that are doing this, are they in reality afraid to be exposed there after this technology comes forward? And if you could talk more about this, please, I would be very glad.
Yes, I've been told to be correct, as we are usually, and explain. The only person who has brought this and is using scaremongering is my ex-wife. She's been pushing this through to create a secondary division in foundation to break it up. Translate.
Então foi mostrado para mim que eu estava desde isso correto, né? A única pessoa que está trazendo essa confusão toda, nesse processo todo, é minha ex-mulher, né? Ela montou isso tudo para poder desmantelar a fundação toda.
This is to the Keshe Foundation. Knowledge and technology is so vast. This lady has become part of a satanic group, and they are using her and a very few friends to frighten people for development of the technology that they can use it to damage the foundation. She has no knowledge. She's only sold her body all her life. And now she's trying using the soul of man to frighten him. This comes from a person with no knowledge. And now, in the structure of the development of the technology, out of the whole range of the knowledge, have picked on this because of their seeing how they can break up the foundation. Would you like to translate?
Yes. E o que o Sr. Keshe está passando aqui, na verdade, é que isso foi feito pela minha ex-esposa, né? Na verdade, ela é um conhecimento muito vasto e ela se juntou a grupos, na verdade, satânicos nesse processo. Ela já estava junto a isso. E está usando esse entendimento que ela, na verdade, ela não tem nenhum entendimento do que ela está falando. Ela só está usando isso para poder tentar desmantelar e destruir a Fundação Keshe. Então, tudo que ela fala não tem embasamento nenhum de conhecimento, porque ela não tem o conhecimento para falar isso que ela está falando. E isso é basicamente o que está acontecendo hoje. Ela está espalhando essas notícias no privado, mas sem ter embasamento apenas para destruir.
The fields of 5 cups, if it's dangerous for you, you have 7 cups, you call 7 chakras. Translate.
Então, os campos de 5 copos, né? Se você acha que é perigoso para você, você tem 7 copos, né? Que nós chamamos dos 7 chakras.
Does your 7 chakras changes your DNA?
Será que seus 7 chakras mudam o seu DNA?
You have 2 additional chakras, which is always creator of your chakras, which is the gravitational and magnetical field and the inertia of this planet.
Então você tem os 2 chakras mais além deles, né? Mais adicionais, que são os da inércia do campo magnético gravitacional, que são os chakras que vão fazer isso.
In essence, when people are ignorant to knowledge, you can frighten them.
Em essência, quando as pessoas são ignorantes ao conhecimento, nós podemos assustar elas.
This lady has no education, has never been to school, and now using the education structure of the Keshe Foundation with her ex-lover, who infiltrated the education part of the Keshe Foundation, want to bring this in to bring man to literally illiteracy that they can abuse.
Então, na verdade, essa pessoa, né, que é minha ex-esposa, ela nunca teve nenhum tipo de conhecimento de educação na vida dela. Ela está usando a estrutura educacional da Fundação Keshe junto com seu ex-amante para poder tentar colocar a sua maneira e tentar destruir tudo, né, sem ter nenhum tipo de conhecimento do que ela realmente está falando.
And we try to keep away from this in the foundation. As you bring it up, do not be afraid. If you're afraid of anything, walk away from the foundation. That's what they want to do, that they can keep on abusing you.
Nós tentamos manter isso tentamos manter isso afastado, mas uma vez que traz para a mesa, a gente fala sobre isso. Mas uma coisa que eles querem apenas é colocar você com medo. Uma vez que você está com medo, eles podem abusar de você.
And we advise you, if you received anything like this from these, send it to us. We said in one nation, one planet. Send it to the Keshe Foundation. All the communication you receive, these are going through the process of damaging the foundation. And it's done by one lady, which we deliberately allowed to come into a position to find out what is the plan to damage the foundation.
Então, na verdade, se você receber, como falamos no One Nation Plan, se você receber qualquer uma dessas mensagens no privado, por favor, envie para a Fundação Keshe, que nós estamos coletando tudo isso para poder levar à corte. E isso tudo foi feito por uma única senhora que só quer danificar a Fundação.
She infiltrated with her lover and the group from Dubai conference, and we have all evidence. They want to see the humanity to be paralyzed that they can keep on abusing it. The Keshe Foundation management for over 3 years since Dubai conference, 4 years, has been monitoring the behavior of this lady, the adulterous life, and how she has become using stones and lights to control people. It's all in black and white. We are not making any accusation. So now that they see the foundation developing into the next phase, they try to stop. And that's why immediately she was put out of the Keshe Foundation as we saw their final move. She went missing for 2 days and is in the court with another man. She has confirmed it herself with the same lover. We open for you to understand you're dealing with an indecent behavior person. And she's done this all her life. And you have to understand how they use the position of the Keshe Foundation to now frighten you to cover their misconducts who damage the foundation so much.
Então, o que acontece aqui, na verdade, é que, como foi falado aqui, ela, na verdade, usou a estrutura da Fundação Keshe para conseguir suas próprias maneiras. Então, nós estamos colocando isso tudo na corte, né? E a gente já sabia isso, pessoal, a equipe da Fundação Keshe já sabia o que ela estava fazendo desde o primeiro congresso, da conferência que teve há 3 anos atrás. Nós estávamos atentos a todo o adultério que ela estava cometendo, todas as graves coisas que ela estava fazendo no plano de fundo. E nós estávamos observando para ela chegar nesse ponto. Na verdade, isso está feito por uma pessoa que não tem conhecimento nenhum da tecnologia, também é uma pessoa que sua vida inteira basicamente foi de uma conduta errada. E é isso que ela está mostrando agora, e tudo que ela está fazendo agora é só para tentar trazer medo, tentar desmantelar a fundação. Isso já está tudo sendo feito no tribunal, levado ao tribunal, ela já está junto com seu amante lá, isso mostra só o tipo de conduta que ela teve. Está lá com os 6 amantes dela.
They even use the earring as a wedding gift, the stones of it, to change things. We will open these things. You have to understand that she is involved in satanic work by using the stones and other things which they use. And these are all part of the evidence of the court. We are not talking out of line. And her confirmation that these stones is used for manipulating. She is a manipulator with a group she's got involved with. And we are very open about it, because if we don't do, when it comes out, you'll find out how they infiltrated, how deep the foundation. And it's her own confirmation that she's involved in these things, not us. And it's in black and white before she deletes everything. It's all been scanned, screened, and it's in the hand of the officials and the court. Can you please translate?
Yes. Então, o que acontece, na verdade, é que ela estava carregando, ela estava envolvida em questões, em envolvimentos com grupos satânicos no plano de fundo. E ela faz esse trabalho com pedras, alguns tipos de pedras, e isso tudo estava sendo visto por todos. A gente já sabia o que estava acontecendo, mas a gente estava só no plano de fundo observando. E hoje a gente tem provas disso, reais, do que ela estava fazendo. A gente estava colhendo todas essas provas, a gente tem para colocar isso no tribunal, a gente está levando isso para o tribunal. E ela usa esses grupos do plano de fundo que trabalham, são grupos satânicos que ela trabalha junto. Estava usando isso para poder entrar e penetrar na Fundação Keshe, para passar o medo e para poder continuar com esse domínio, para poder desmantelar o trabalho todo da Fundação Keshe. Então hoje a gente está levando isso para o tribunal para poder ser tudo averiguado.
This is not my private marriage. This is the way they use the marriage to destroy one of the largest foundations in the world.
Isso não é só sobre o meu casamento privado, a maneira como eles usaram o meu casamento para poder tentar destruir toda uma estrutura, né? Então, quando a gente fala isso tudo, a gente traz a público, porque uma hora ou outra isso ia vir a público.
We will show how hard the management of the Keshe Foundation has worked in the past 4 or 5 years to protect us from her conduct.
Vamos mostrar o quão duro trabalhou a equipe da Fundação Keshe no plano de fundo para poder nos proteger da conduta dela.
And we always believed in betterment of man. Man will change, man will improve. But we did not do anything till they started direct attacking private teachings. Then we knew we have to take action.
Então nós sempre acreditamos no aprimoramento do homem, né, e do ser humano. Então nós sempre ficamos bem quietos, observando até esse aprimoramento acontecer. Mas quando começaram a fazer esses ataques nos orçamentos privados, nós precisamos nos mover e tomar ação com relação a isso.
There is much more she has written, we've seen, and all the things she's put on the internet will be answered in the court. And we have asked for a custodial sentence for her because the damage is beyond the marriage, is to other aspects of the life as well.
Então nós estamos colocando isso tudo no tribunal, né? Já começamos o processo para ela entrar em custódia de sentença, né? Porque o que ela está fazendo é muito além de um casamento, né? Que ela está destruindo mais uma coisa que a nível da humanidade que nós temos todas essas provas hoje que nós estamos mostrando.
It has been my private marriage, but I've lived a very open life, and in so many ways we are all part of this family. And now they try to take the foundation for ransom. The cup is the first, the sisterhood is another, then other things, that adultery and everything else become a norm. And our children become open to abuse. Now we have stopped this, we monitored this for a long time, we protected a lot of things, but we made sure no one in the foundation will be harmed. We did not bring this into public. When it was brought to public, we reacted immediately.
Na verdade, o que acontece aqui é que isso não tem a ver só com o meu casamento privado, né? Como eu falo isso, independentemente disso, minha vida é uma vida que é aberta a todos. Eu passo isso para todos de forma bem clara. Então, o que aconteceu aqui foi uma pessoa tentando fazer esse processo de desmantelação e nós trazemos isso tudo a público para todos para poder entender o processo, porque o que eles estavam tentando fazer é algo, por exemplo, adultério como algo normal, algo natural. E quando nós percebemos isso, nós temos que proteger de alguma forma e tomamos ação para poder isso não ser, para poder as crianças, por exemplo, serem doutrinadas para essa maneira de normalidade como eles veem esse adultério e todas essas coisas erradas que eles estão fazendo. Então nós agimos para proteger.
If you go missing 1 hour in your marriage, it's questionable. When you confirm you go missing for 2 days with another man, the marriage is over. And this is exactly where the foundation has been for the past 3 years.
Então, se você perde metade, vamos dizer assim, do seu casamento, você tem que ficar cuidadoso com relação a isso. Mas se você perde o casamento por causa de 2 casos, né, 2 homens, aí tem uma fundação que está errada, né? Uma fundação que está acabada quando isso acontece.
Planning how to destroy the foundation.
Estava acontecendo um planejamento para poder destruir a Fundação Keshe.
And this is the last time I would like this to be discussed, as the whole thing is in the court. And she called it a kangaroo court. There is no kangaroo court. Evidence is direct. We have brought the case to the court for adultery and prostitution with the full evidence. We have got her own writing in satanic work in believing that light, the stone will appear with the beauty of it will be shown. This is not a normal human behavior unless you believe in certain ways. And in so many ways, this matter has to come to rest. And I ask you, please, ignore, delete, block anything from this woman, unless you believe in adulterous life, unless you believe in prostitution, unless you believe these kind of things, keep your lines open. But send us a link, because she's deleting everything everywhere, because she knows she has actually put herself in a worse condition than before by writing so much. She's deleting everywhere. If you have been deleted, let us know. It's part of the structure. They try to destroy, exploit, and divide the foundation, and then we come up as minority seekers on kangaroo court. There's no kangaroo court. We should have done this to us 3 years ago, when she went missing for 2 days with another man after the Rome conference. And she was found with a sister and a man in the hotel in Rome. We go into details. This is not made up. And members of the management of the Keshe Foundation, Italian police force, was fully aware of this. We try to keep calm. We try to protect the foundation. And now that we've seen she's put so much on the internet, we are responding to you because you are the ones who are receiving it. Translate.
Yes. E o que eu estou falando aqui, na verdade, a última vez que eu gostaria de discutir sobre esse assunto, né, com relação a esse ponto, na verdade, estamos colocando tudo isso bem às claras aqui para vocês entenderem o processo, vocês estão recebendo essas mensagens no privado. Nós aconselhamos vocês a bloquearem essas pessoas, bloquearem elas do privado, e tudo que vocês receberem dela, por favor, pegam esse material, mandem para a Fundação Keshe antes de vocês bloquearem e deletarem tudo. Porque quem está levando tudo isso para o tribunal, e a gente está fazendo isso, ela está fazendo parte de um grupo satânico, na verdade. Temos evidência disso, que ela, coisa assinada por ela, que ela realmente está esperando a chegada de uma pedra mágica para poder aparecer alguma coisa. E isso é algo que não é um comportamento humano natural, né? E nós temos evidências, na verdade, que estava sendo feito há algum tempo atrás, na conferência de Roma, por exemplo, a gente viu que ela estava com 2 homens, foi achada com 2 homens e com um homem, na verdade, com a sua irmã, e toda a equipe de segurança italiana sabia disso, lá da Fundação Keshe. Então nós temos evidência sobre isso tudo, e nós vamos começar a agir com relação a isso. Hoje ela está na corte, sendo processada por prostituição e adultério.
Whatever, if you receive something from a scientist of the Keshe Foundation, somebody from Gelato, Ahmed, Dr. Gatwa, or other knowledge is a Rick, to advise you to do these things and raise concern with us, we have to address. But this is all started with a scaremongering, dividing the foundation. She has divided my family. I have not seen my son for 5 months. He's supposed to be safe in the hand of a bunch of Peter Pans. What do I believe? My child, or following the foundation? We have been very patient in protecting the foundation, and we will stay the same. I would like you as members of the Keshe Foundation Worldwide Knowledge Seekers to know the truth. And what we have in writing is no allegation. My marriage was over 3 years ago. When she came in, she says, "Can we start fresh?" And I said, "What have you done that you need to start after 25 years fresh?"
Então isso é algo que eu queria trazer para vocês à tona, que eu acho que é muito importante estar todos sabendo disso, né? O que estava acontecendo, o que essa pessoa está fazendo, ela está tentando não só destruir a fundação, mas também uma vida familiar, porque eu não consigo ver o meu filho já há 5 meses agora. Isso é algo grave que ela está fazendo. E, na verdade, o que ela está fazendo é basicamente isso, em resumo. Está tentando só apenas destruir a fundação sem ter conhecimento. Não sei se conhecia isso que estava sendo falado no privado. Viesse cientistas como Rick, como Armin, como Gator, a gente poderia sentar e discutir sobre isso. Em vez de uma pessoa que não tem conhecimento nenhum, nunca teve, a gente já sabia disso há muito tempo que isso está acontecendo. E agora chegou nesse ponto que a gente teve que colocar a público, expor isso e está indo ao tribunal por conta disso.
Driving 900 kilometers from south of Italy to Austria to see your lover in hiding for 4 days and then claiming 2 days is not accidental. It's pre-planned.
Então Então, viajar vários quilômetros para poder ver o seu amante, né, na Itália, como ela fez, e falando que ficou só 2 dias fora, na verdade ficou 4 dias, foi algo que na verdade foi feito, algo pré-planejado, né? Não foi só simplesmente uma ida ao amante.
You decide as a man, would you keep that woman like this? Would you have a husband or a wife who does this?
Agora
Then
você
you believe
pensa,
the woman what she says to. Translation.
então agora você pensa como ser humano, como se você tem uma mulher como essa, uma esposa como essa, o que você realmente faria nesse caso? E agora nós estamos tomando essa ação, porque não era só com relação a nós, toda uma coisa que estava por trás, muito mais além.
While I was in Amman with a member of the Earth Council meeting officials of the government, she drives 900 kilometers to see the lover, thinking she cannot be found.
Quando estávamos nessa conferência, estava com membros do Conselho Universal, membros do Conselho da Terra nessa conferência, ela viajou vários quilômetros para poder ver o amante, achou que não ia ser desculpa.
Me, the Earth Council member, the members of the Keshe Foundation management, Italian police went to force to find. She was hiding in a hotel with her lover.
Então nós da Fundação Keshe, a equipe da Fundação Keshe, membros do Conselho Universal e também a polícia italiana, fomos atrás disso e achamos ela com seu amante no hotel.
Now you understand how much, what kind of man I am.
Agora você entende quanto e que tipo de homem eu sou.
My marriage was over from the Italian conference.
O casamento já estava terminado na conferência da Itália.
And now you understand, if you can lie to your husband, you can lie to the rest of the Keshe Foundation to destroy the cups.
Então agora você pode entender isso. Você pode mentir para o seu marido, você pode também mentir para toda a Fundação Keshe.
I did not bring this in public. She posted hundreds of messages to thousands of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers using our channels. Now you have to know the truth.
Eu ia trazer isso a público, mas ela está postando para milhares de buscadores de conhecimento do mundo todo e usando o nosso canal para poder fazer isso com mensagens privadas. Por isso que nós trouxemos isso a público. Agora você tem que saber a verdade.
And this is not the first time she's been adulterous in our relationship. I forgave on the weakness of the man, but it was abuse.
E essa não é a primeira vez que ela comete adultério, né? E eu perdoei pela fraqueza do homem, mas isso foi abusado por ela.
And these people are prepared to come to the court to give evidence.
Essas pessoas estão prontas para ir ao tribunal para poder com as evidências.
So you decide if it's true to destroy what is given to you as the most important piece of knowledge.
Então cabe a você decidir se você quer destruir isso que foi passado como um pedaço crucial do conhecimento.
My marriage was over 3 years ago when she went out openly with another man.
Meu casamento estava terminado há 3 anos atrás, quando abertamente ela foi encontrar com este outro homem.
I would like to stop this because foundation is part of my life, it's whole of my life. And as she's put it in public, now you understand the reason why.
Gostaria de parar por aqui com isso, mas como a Fundação Keshe é parte da minha vida e como ela colocou tudo dessa forma, usou nossas plataformas, eu trago isso a público para vocês.
I went to China for 2 years because I couldn't handle it.
Fui para a China durante 2 anos porque eu não consegui lidar com isso.
I would like to close this subject, and if you decide this is the way you want to live with the stones and adultery and prostitution, choose to take her side. If you want to live the life I live and you live, and we do, this is a scientific development organization. Stay with us.
Então, gostaria de encerrar esse assunto por aqui. Então, deixo para você decidir. Se você quer viver uma vida de adultério, se você é de acordo com uma vida de adultério, de mentiras e de fazer devoção para uma pedra, por exemplo, você segue esse caminho dela. Mas se você quer o caminho, nosso caminho, que é o caminho que a gente segue, que é uma instituição científica, que a gente está passando algo aqui para vocês têm essa escolha de também seguir esse caminho nosso.
At that time, the whole Keshe Foundation management in Italy, the security operators of the Keshe Foundation went to override to find her. Then she was hiding in a hotel with a lover.
6 anos atrás, quando aconteceu isso na Itália, nessa conferência, todo tipo da Fundação Keshe estava à procura e da polícia também, o pessoal de segurança italiano, e chegamos a achar ela num hotel com seu amante.
So it's not made up there. There were in that week over 10 members of the Keshe Foundation securities looking for her while she was hiding.
Então não é algo do nada isso. Nós temos 10 membros da Fundação Keshe na parte de segurança que estava lá e sabe disso e estava procurando ela e viu isso.
And we found her through the husband of the sister of the lover.
E nós achamos a verdade com o marido do amante dela, né? Da irmã do amante.
He told us where they're hiding.
Ele nos disse onde eles estavam escondidos.
I would like to close this case, and I'll leave it to the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers to decide.
Gostaria de fechar isso aqui esse caso por aqui. Eu deixo para os buscadores de conhecimento da Fundação Keshe para decidirem o que fazer.
Any other question?
Alguma outra pergunta?
Então, Rafael, basicamente é isso, né? Foi esclarecedor. Basicamente é isso.
So he's saying that's it. You clarify a lot. So that's it.
Thank you very much. We know she infiltrated in the Keshe Foundation Brazil to break it up. We know she infiltrated into the Iranian Keshe Foundation to break it up. And this was becoming intolerable. Every day we receive hundreds of messages what she's doing. And we decided that we go open with it. The copy of what I tell you is part of the court. And we go in with the full evidence and her own writing of adulterous behavior, not us accusing.
Então ela estava fazendo isso na Fundação Keshe aqui no Brasil, também na Fundação Keshe na Itália, no Irã. Tudo tentando, ela estava infiltrada aqui dentro com outras pessoas para tentar destruir esse trabalho da Fundação Keshe. Nós temos todas essas provas, né? Da própria escrita dela de adultério também, mas também nessa parte de tentar destruir o trabalho da Fundação Keshe dentro da própria Fundação Keshe.
Any other question, please?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have a question with, just a second here, with Antonio in the Q&A. Says, Mr. Keshe, the so-called miracle phenomena around the world, which I see as the science of nature, is this in part the signs for those who look for them of these great wise teachers who along with our space brothers and yourself in preparation of this new age of peace and sharing? And from my understanding, this will rapidly change mankind's development as we become aware of who we are. Many thanks, Mr. Keshe. Is that kind of the way that it could be looked at, or would you modify that?
When we come as messengers of the universal messengers, we come in different shapes and forms, and we come in the structure of enlightening the soul of the man. Some souls become aware of our presence long before the others, and they inform. In a way, we come to take mankind to a new level of understanding. We come to the point where collectively we transfer knowledge not only to the soul of the man, but to the soul of the universal community. And in so many ways, one by one, the souls, as they get enlightened, they inform people around them. Like your knowledge seekers, you learn about the Gans, you see the beauty of it, you learn, you teach it to your neighbors, to your children, to your parents, to your environment, people you work with. And some of the knowledge seekers of the soul, which have been with us as students of man, long before we became in the public domain, they do their work. You got to realize, as I said to the Iranian officials, when I wrote the first papers, the first patent about nano batteries and nano materials, the Iranian scientists took it and they ran with it. And Iran became one of the leading nanotechnologies in the world. Initially through that paper alone. The same process goes. We teach, and some people hear the voice. They know of our presence. You got to realize something very important, and I go back onto it many times till you understand. We are born in the physicality of the man. We are trained in to understand the work of the man. At a given point, the soul of the creator opens up, which led to the creation of the physicality to start. I cannot teach about energy and others if I didn't have a degree in nuclear. And in that respect, you could trust a scientist, not somebody who just talks. This time we came to what man believes at the edge of the knowledge and technology, where in essence we carry two souls. The essence of the soul of the creator and the essence of the soul of the man. And two exist as one. This is my life. And you have to understand, the teaching is done by two dimensions of the creator. The knowledge is everlasting and is in both dimensions. We have to understand the culture of the man. We have to understand the pitfall of the existence of the man. And with it, we bring the knowledge of the creator that man will evolve. And this is the process. As I said, this cycle, the profit of the soul and the science come together in one, that they can both be explained at the same time. I wrote this years before I opened the technology this way with the soul. It's not something new. The knowledge is the knowledge of creation. You have put any topics in about 20 years, from agriculture, medicine, space, energy. Anything you have put, we have delivered. But as you have not seen, some you don't understand, some doesn't make sense to you because you don't have the knowledge. We introduced you the magma. How many of you have succeeded? But the magma system is one of the most advanced technologies in the universe. is access to universal energy if you understand what to do with it. And most of you, because of the lack of knowledge of the universal cosmic rays, understanding of the physical matter of electronics, you're all lost in it. And as my tradition, I do not do. I say what it is, show it. It's for you to achieve it. The same, the most powerful system given to you is the 5 cups. Because you have to understand, it's like your alphabet. If you don't understand alphabet, how do you want to make a word? How do you want to make a sentence? You ignore the 5 cups principle understanding of interaction of the fields of the bottom cup to the top cup to the middle cup, how they create a bigger atmosphere, but at the same time, the magnetosphere of it dictates the interaction with the others. How do you want to live in the universe? How do you want to create position and condition to be able to exist? We put it in a very simple form. Very simple form. But that you can understand because the knowledge of the man is very basic. When you understand how the souls work, you can understand how the physicality works. Then you can interfere, then you can interact. And this is what happens. When we come, we enlighten many souls. But in essence, is one soul. They are like prisms. They reflect the light of the origin. And it's the time for mankind to move into, as I said, move out of this village of earth. If you understand the work of the magnetic field of this planet, how it moves, how it positions itself, how interaction of the fields create day and night, how its slight deviation in angle creates the seasons. How come the man has still got a problem to go from earth to moon, let alone other dimensions? And that's why we came to correct it, for you to see it. You relied on burning. We showed you the way the universe works on the magnetic field interaction. That's all. You were not aware of the facts. We put it, and then you couldn't see how the big was. We gave you the Ganses. You want to see how collectively they do. So we put it in the ball and gave it to Ganses. How it interacts in the field of open space. We gave you the 5 cups. There is so much knowledge, but as I said, many teachings. You keep on looking at the cup, what the gas is in there, but you don't look at what the gas as a field makes in that cup and what conditions it creates. So it's the same. And our essence is enlightening the soul of the man, and with it to bring peace. So you see, like the way you teach, as I said to your family and friends about the Gans, those who have received the message of the higher order, they an ounce of the creation of the peace to come and the rest of it. But in essence, the light comes from the same origin. Depends which souls are enlightened. You're enlightened to the knowledge of the Gans, they are enlightened to the knowledge of peace. You've got to realize something, as I explained to a knowledge seeker very recently. With the knowledge we have and attachment of the man to financial dimensions, we could have created palaces and live like the rulers of this planet and become others you've seen by wealth who is now trying to control the man by vaccines and the rest. I never took that path because the true wealth is within knowledge of the soul of the creator that I carry. And I live a simple life as a man. It's much harder to live my life than choose the palaces and big temples and go the path that mankind has gone in the past. I live amongst you and I teach amongst you. When you know you can have more and you choose less, you understand how we are and how we live. I can make tons of gold and live a luxury life and do magics and make palaces and become like as you've seen. Make Jerusalems and Meccas and Tel Aviv and Haifas and the rest of it. But we don't choose. This time we live amongst the people to elevate the man that all become equal. I have made my home in your souls. That's where your temple is. Any other question?
Yes, we have a number of questions, and we have someone with their hand up, Azar. So perhaps you can go first, and we can address some of the questions in the Q&A.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. I have one question, is from past teaching, because I was listening to them again. And that has to do, in one of the teaching you talk about when the soul of physicality is sitting on the heart, and then we have the man soul in the brain. And then you said the connecting of them and opening up the soul of the man has always been doing it. And we made the example of when you get to such an emotional, high emotion because something happened in your life, and then your physicality, the heart of physicality cannot handle it, you send that emotion, that energy field to the soul, and the soul does not accept it, so you get a stroke. If you have this information, this is one information you gave, and then I go back to another information. I'm trying to connect the two and see how we can create that field of energy field of the heart of physicality to the soul of the man, so we can open up the soul. So if we go back to when we're born, when we take the first breath, what happens is the lung get distended, the capillary get dilated, and then the blood start to flow. And in children, as they are in the womb of the mother, they're connected to the umbilical cord. And then the right atrium is communicating with the left atrium, which is the opening there, is a foramen ovale. And there's a septum there, which is like a partition between the two atrium. One is called septum secundum, and the other septum is a septum primum, which is kind of like a door, like holding on a hinge. So the blood flows from right atrium to the left. And then the blood at that point, when the birth starts to happen, the blood pressure in the right atrium goes down. And then once it goes down, that septum primum flip back on the septum secundum, it closes the foramen ovale. So that at that point, this connection is closed. And that closure completed at the end of the first year of the child. So now when you want to get that connection with the other information we have, if you want to get the field from the heart of the physicality to the soul, to open up the soul, are we still able to open this foramen, or is it, how does it work in this? Can we go back to it or no?
The reality is, this is probably discussing some knowledge seekers in the recent past. In the womb of the mother, you're connected to the mother with the umbilical cord. And you have a reserve tank of parallel soul as placenta. But in fact, you live in a world of liquid. In one instance, you are born in an environment when there is freer energy balance of a liquid called air, and you automatically change your filter from water to air. This is what I put to knowledge seekers as we start opening the discussion of the man in space in the past few weeks. Maybe we can bring the advancement of the technology from next week, 21st, to this week, that we can start a deeper way next week. The biggest fear of the man is, if we let you in a space without a spacesuit, you die. But if we have managed to change from a water world into the less open magnetic field, we call it a gaseous world of air. If I take you into space between the Earth and the Moon, the way the Russians do give birth in a water tank, if now that your soul is aware that you can exist anywhere in the universe, and as a mother you give birth to a child, not in the atmospheric condition of the man, but the atmospheric condition of the universe in between the Earth and the Moon, would that child survive? Or because there is no air, would that child die? My teaching, my understanding, my life in the depth of the space, it says the child will survive. Because within the structure of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality will elevate to the position of the environment. But man needs that time of evolution to get to that point, that he can give birth in any position in the universe, not just from the water to a gas. Because they're all different densities of magnetic field strength. The man will evolve according to the space and time. No man who understands the work of his soul will ever die anywhere in the universe from the lack of oxygen. Because there is no oxygen. Oxygen, as we say, energy mixture of the gases of this planet has become to be absorbed by the lung for the conversion of its existence. Now in a space, we convert to the new standard, to the new strength. So if you can go one way, you should be able to go back. Or do we put the mother in a space on a gas mask and leave the body outside in a space, and let's give birth the way they do it in Russia, where the child being in the bath, mother outside breathing, and the child is born in a warm liquid temperature of the womb of the mother, and we see the child still survives.
Mr. Keshe, saying this, if at the moment of the childbirth, the child can get, be adopted to the environment, can I say if I'm pregnant and you take me to planet Zeus, and my upper body is covered in a condition that I'm surviving this condition is a planet Earth because.
Can you imagine the pressure difference your body will be in?
But Mr. Keshe, if I give birth at that planet, my child is going to get adopted to planet Zeus?
Of course, that's what it should be, because you've got to realize each environment has a given strength gravitational magnetic field. There is a need for our existence, physical existence, to adjust to that one. If you remember, this is something which a lot of you have a problem with. And this is why a lot of you have stuck with this. This is always shown by the magnetic field of the plasma. So you have life at this level on Earth. So your cells are adapted at this level. But you're part of the total spring. And at this level, you still can live and exist because you use the same strength. This is the imagination of the man, that the man will die. No. Man will never die in any dimension in the universe. It just depends which strength you take. And at that point, you can manifest yourself out of the strength of the fields of your body. And depends if you tune into it. Or you still stay independent of it, but create a connection and relation. You absorb the energy of the environment, and according to that energy, you react your soul to manifest itself in that level. Here is 1G, and planet Zeus is 10G. So your plasmatic field at the strength of 10G will manifest itself to keep the integrity of the existence of the soul. And then in that point, it manifests itself in the physical dimension of what that position dictates.
Mr. Keshe, another question I have, you were talking about the soul came here to experience on this planet, to experience things. It doesn't matter what the situation is. The soul wants to experience. I mean, when you talk about that, then I didn't understand, was it the soul of physicality or the soul of the man wants to experience? Because Jalal came in and
both.
So they both have different agendas.
Yes, otherwise they have different agenda, but they're both in one brings this, I'm here to enjoy, and say, come on, I make the table for you and I feed you what you come here to this restaurant for. The soul comes, and the physicality is the servant to taste, to give it the taste of what it is.
So which one is the decision maker? The soul of the man or soul of
the soul of the man is a decision maker for the interaction with the universe. The soul of physicality is responsible for what the physicality does on this earth. And the two interactions manifest themselves as an emotion of the physicality of the man, both in the soul and the physical dimension.
Because Jalal came in and he asked question about, so when we set up our ganses, we we put the intention how we want how we want our soul to be, and then so it's going to be contradicting. Then my question is this: say I'm going to use Jalal as an example because he asked the question. Say Jalal is married and have 2 kids and live in an apartment building, and then one day he comes out and his next door neighbor, he just got married, and then the minute he sees the woman and the woman sees him, they madly fall in love. That wasn't the intention.
Poor Jalal. Jalal, I hope your wife is not listening to this.
So was it the soul of Jalal fall in love with that, or soul of physicality? Which one?
It's a soul of physicality, because you fall in love. Mankind has not learned to fall in love with the soul yet. We have taught to 1 or 2, but mankind have not learned to fall in love with the soul of physicality and the soul of the man together. And if you fall in love in that level, which is normal in the universe, the condition doesn't come. You fall in love with the next door neighbor or with the dog or whatever. It's acceptance of the totality to accommodate the love.
But Mr. Keshe, when Jalal look at that woman and he falls in love, that wasn't his intention. So how could it be from physicality? It could be from the soul.
You see, physical love comes from interaction of physical matter state of the body of the man. This I've explained in many, many teachings.
Isn't that why they call it falling in love?
You fall with the head in here and you break your leg.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. That was really good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But one of the things that mankind soon will learn as part of the universe, now that you're becoming part of the universal community, is you find matching magnetic field strength at a certain point with other creatures of the universe. As we come here, we fall off with the man souls. And in that process, you find out your physical body is amino acid, and his or her physical body is cannot, or you will destroy, or you will feel the strength will change the soul or the physicality of what you're falling in love with. Then you keep the love in the dimension of the soul, as physicality is an impossibility. Her blood is an acid to your DNA composition. I've explained this in many private teachings.
Mr. Keshe, can I say when things like this happen, it's kind of like you kind of being tested for your strength in your conduct?
It doesn't need a strength. It needs understanding.
Or understanding of your conduct. For example, Jalal.
No, it's that understanding of the position.
So, and then when you understand it, you can actually overcome it.
Why do you need to overcome?
I mean, Jalal.
Why don't you? No, there is a big problem in speaking the word. Do you stop loving your first child because the second one is born? Or do you love and respect, but you know the position of each child?
So it means Jalal can love his wife and also the other woman at the same time?
No, in understanding that love exists, but is if the other position love exists, that it can be respected.
So you just respect it.
You have to respect it. The creation, and then you'll find out the souls will find accommodation for it and accommodate it. If it's done the correct way. We are loved by a mother and a father, And we are loved by brothers and sisters, and we are loved by friends. And we respect each one accordingly. Is respecting that love and accommodating for it to nourish. And if it's there to nourish, doesn't mean that you have to do this or that. It's accommodating that it nourishes to its full maturity.
So, Mr. Keshe, so when the way you talk about this, it makes it so beautiful because
It
if you
is
look
beautiful.
at because
It's
when
a
you look at
giving. It's nothing more than to give the love stays and nourishes. Does not matter within or with others.
you see, because when I see now, I can compare our behavior, the way we understand the field now. Everything is a field, and the way we look at it as a human in matter state. We always look at things in a black and white. That okay.
You see, Azadja, let me explain what I teach is what is there. You have to understand allowing love to nourish, if you can be part of it or accommodate it, is part of the responsibility of the existence. But it doesn't mean that you can kill it, because then you stand, as we call it, the punishment of it. If we accommodate the creation of love, you see, the problem is, especially with the Islamic nation where you come from, where in Iran and Islamic nation, one woman is changed with the other one new version, as long as you can have 4 cars in the garage, if you understand what I'm talking about. You'll find out in our traditional Iranian ethos, we respected a woman as a sacrosanct entity, the mother, the creator. When you change it to the numbers, oh, you can have 4 of them, and you can change it with the latest model, and as long as you get 4 garages, you can't keep 1 garage outside. And then you come to this problem where use it. We have to understand what is the best for evolution of the soul. Doesn't matter how and who and where we are. And that's the key, and that's what mankind have not understood. We don't sacrifice. We give to elevate with the pleasure of the existence. We give our daughters to other men for them to love and be loved. Does that mix with our loving for them? Or is it with that love we see the elevation of their love, their soul in a new dimension? And if you understand this in essence, you have no problem understanding in the process of life. Does not matter where, in which planet. This is why in a discussion we had a few minutes ago, I allowed, because if there is elevation of soul, that it people when it becomes abuse of the soul, it has to stop. We cannot imprison the physicality because we think we own it. We have to allow the elevation of the soul. And that's the true man.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. That was very good.
It's not very good, it's the truth, it's the way it is. What's next? Do you want to take a break?
Can you take one more question from one more person here?
Yeah.
We have a hand up from someone new, K Kawus. And if you would like
Kawus, yes, he's a Iranian knowledge seeker who came to Linz a couple of weeks ago. A beautiful
okay.
He's a beautiful gentleman, Iranian word. He came with his daughter. He looks younger than his daughter, by the way. It's amazing.
Mr. Keshe, God bless you.
God bless you, fellowship.
It as always is a pleasure hearing you with your teaching. My greeting to everybody and the whole team and the knowledge seekers. I've had a couple of puzzling questions related to the soul. One of them is, why does the soul get punished for things that physicality do? In a sense.
So, stop. Soul does not get punished. Soul gets positioned. Punishment is the characteristic of physicality. Positioning is characteristic of the soul.
So when you mentioned previously that when that these bad people who do all this killing and all other sorts of sinful stuff that they carry on with these acts of them, so the soul somehow, you said that they may get broken down and become even as small as a virus. So why would the soul become viruses? Or
you see, the souls find a position that they do not receive. It's the structure of the soul of the man in elevation is how closer you can be that you can exchange higher strength and receive higher strength. And this is what is the final destination of any soul. How much can you see that at the higher strength you become the creator? Let me explain to you something very beautiful in cosmology. And when I see it and I read or hear the scientists speak about it, it makes me laugh. You have this explosion of huge stars that they explode and they create many new stars. And this is a regeneration of new life. In a physical life, we give birth to a child. When it reaches point of maturity, when you become an adult, you can have a child. In a cosmology, in a star formation, in galaxies, when the energy within becomes so much, it's become mature that it can spread and create new life from one. And with it, new galaxies and new conditions. It's like having new children. And cosmologists don't understand this. And in that process, it's the same as your soul. Now, one big soul with whatever is done and explodes into smaller structures. But in essence, they all carry the attributes of the big one. And those who are weaker might take its distance further, or they take a distance closer, depending on what they receive or what they give. When we have such a position with what we call Hitler and the others, they find that soul finds its position in a way that no one it gives and in a way no one receives. And so it becomes remote. It's like that the star explodes and the one which is part of furthest is through the characteristics is not a punishment, but is what I call separation by strength of the field.
So in a sense, they get rejected, more or less, and isolated.
They don't get rejected. They distance themselves as they cannot hold.
Balance. And that brings me to another question, if I may. you've mentioned, obviously, we say a third of our planet population, mankind, are really visitors. I want to know why would they delve themselves or indulge in this quagmire, knowing as a soul they already know what this planet Earth has to offer? So why would they put themselves in a position whereby their soul could become sinful, so to speak, through their physicality, and then maybe jeopardize their beautiful soul that they were as an alien, and now they got themselves in a position whereby their soul would be marred and tarnished?
Most of the ones, now that we open the knowledge and you will be able to understand the separation, that here in the existence of the soul, which means they exist through the soul, but they take physicality dimension to live. And many of them here for hundreds and thousands of years, they haven't gone down. The people, we call them people, that move from one village to another. They go from one city to another every time, and then they start a new life as a young man or whatever. Because there's nothing else to do in the universe, just be occupied. At least on Earth, you do something. And so you're here not to suffer, or part of it looks to, but you're here as the passengers of the universe. If you don't come to Earth, where are you going to go? How many satellites and how many stars have you traveled and seen? Part of coming and becoming part of the population of the planets like Earth is literally killing time, as we call it. What is to you 1,000 years is 1 second, the life of them in the space and dimension they come from. There are some races on this planet, not only here, other planets who have a physical dimension like this, that, you know, you go to a camp for 2 weeks, for a month.
Yeah.
They come to Earth for that camping business to experience.
Beautiful.
We become part of this in the coming time. Now that the knowledge is developed to be spread, we become part of this.
Thank you ever so much, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
God bless
This
you.
is the, God bless you and your family. You we learned as human race that we traveled, as I said, to go to see Niagara Falls and to go and see Rome. In the coming time, we travel the space of universe to see what happens in such a planet or such a place. And I always said to many knowledge seekers who are after the money and wealth with the foundation, I said, the biggest money will come in the tourism of this technology. Now you see plane loads of what they call it 380 Airbus, bringing 500 Chinese like a cattle into Europe to see Rome and Paris, and all walk the same path. In the coming time, the tourist agency will take your soul to the most beautiful distant places in the universe because somebody else has been and you want to go and see how beautiful it is. But you have to have a soul of this dimension, and then, okay, I'll go and get injection, now I'll go and change, and just to see how I fit in the soul and how I look in that position. So what we call, and I've said this many times, aliens amongst us, now with the teaching and understanding of the transportation, transmutation of the energies, mankind has become aliens to many, many others in the coming time. What we have seen, now we become up. We'll soon become the passengers of the Mars, the Moon, and the galaxies. And we parked the car in the corner of one galaxy and says, admire its beauty. I have given you the knowledge to become universal travelers and universal knowledge seekers. It depends on the scientists and the knowledge seekers and what position they would like to take in respect to their own knowledge. Shall we take a break?
Yes, I was just about to suggest that. Thank you so much, Mr. Keshe. Okay, we'll take a few minutes break now and return with the second part of the workshop shortly. Okay, we're back at the 350th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, October 15th. Mr. Keshe, are you available? Or do you need a few more minutes?
Yes. Do you want to start?
Do you want some more questions?
Yes, why not?
We have a list here. Okay, well, let's start with the top in the Q&A. We've got Antonio, who says, good morning, Mr. Keshe. So even a terrorist in the act of harming can be frozen in his position anywhere on this planet? I think that was in reference to the Universal Enhancement Unit, the uses of it, and so on.
What does that mean? The beauty of the future with mankind is that this world will not exist. What do you call terrorists? To terrorize. What it means to bring other souls to have a fear of. Like all these emails you receive with the 5 cups and the rest of it. It is, the soul will get to a point that it will be satisfied at a point that will never reach this point to terrorize or to bring fear to another being. The word terrorism and terrorist and what we see as a present bombing and what we are used to, the very first one was done by the British in Jerusalem in the modern history. The first known bomb, the way we know in the present new cycle, and the word of the present terrorism was developed by the British when it was about the building of the state of Israel. We have always seen people who have pushed to create fear. But the new way, what we see, that we call it a bombing or whatever, if the man soul, if man emotion are satisfied with what it sees, then this shouldn't exist. Another word is revolution. You no need to revolt if you manage to understand other souls or get other souls to understand through the soul the needs of your soul. These are the things which we'll see gradually in the coming time will be wiped out of the vocabulary of the mankind. It'll become taboo. Nobody will even talk about it. It's like cancer. When you receive enough fields and you understand the process of the working of the systems, even with your own soul, you put balance everything on a regular basis that it doesn't reach the point to become a cancer. You give the same energy all the time to all the cells that you not need to get old to rejuvenate. As you keep the status quo at the position you like to be seen as an old man, it will be that way. If you want to be seen as a young man, it will be that way. Once mankind learned the totality of knowledge of his own existence and operation of his soul, life anywhere in the universe becomes so beautiful. As we say, the world is your oyster. The universe becomes the oyster of the man to exist. And it's beautiful the way you see it. But as I said, the courts, the terrorism, the revolution, the jails, the hospitals, all will become not even a museum, because mankind will be ashamed of what is done in the past. It will demolish them. What you will see in the future, it'll be the progressive development and the joys which any race has enjoyed on earth or before or after. As I said, those who are the travelers of time and here a long time will show you a decoding of what man has done to himself over centuries. As they've been here for centuries, they just move along and they're recorded. And then we understand. We understand why and how our souls operate and what's the reason for it. And do we need to die after 50 years or 80 years, or we just change because we chose a wrong body or wrong position, or we had enough of it? Let's try something new, but it doesn't mean you die. Any other
Question from Randy, who asks, if I go into the enhancement unit and ask for the ability to speak and understand all languages so that I can teach anywhere on planet Earth, how will this ability be installed in my physical body?
You remember the cup and the orange? Now you become the cup. And the languages through the soul of the creation is available. You will talk languages of the man. Now you have to learn the language of the universe. You come up according to what you need. And the language will be the language of the soul which you carry. But if you want to hear it with the physicality, that's easy too. You can choose any language and speaks. You go and read the alphabet to speak a language. You listen through the knowledge, the way that soul communicates with physicality. Then you have learned a language instantaneously. Man becomes a chameleon of the universal languages. But first man has to find himself.
Okay, we have a question from Jefferson, who asks, says, hello, good morning. Is satanic or Satan a kind of plasmatic magnetical field energy or an entity? Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
They come in both shape. And both the strength, not the shape. And what we call satanic are those who take energy from us. And they use that energy which we give for misconduct. And that's as simple as that. Misconduct in the level of the soul of physicality. They never reach the soul of the man. It's much higher order.
Does it matter if that taking of energy is voluntary or involuntary in a way? In other words,
If you take
do
voluntarily, you position yourself. If you are given, there's no problem. But if you take from someone, it's the same as when you put your hand in the pocket of someone, take his money or whatever. If they allow you to go, it's different. And then you find the position and the use of the energy in the right way when you write. Any other question?
Okay, I've got one from Akbar who says, Mr. Keshe, would you please talk about the way of acting and living for us after, he says, dominating our soul? For example, what happens for our talents and jobs and learning languages? I'm not quite clear on.
Yeah, I
I'm
can't
not
understand.
quite clear on that. Would you please talk about the way of acting and living for us after dominating our soul? For example, I think he means.
I think this is a Google translation.
Yeah, I don't think he means dominating our soul. I think when we when our soul
Understand our
dominates.
soul. Oh, maybe you understand us.
So what will happen to our talents and job and so on that
you add to it, you don't lose
so much
it.
of our physicality is involved with that stuff.
We add to, we never lose. It's another art.
Okay. Ed has a question. So when people drown, is it because their mind cannot accept the transformation required to live in the liquid environment?
We have already gone through the transformation. We can't reverse. Unless you adopt, unless you teach it. It's like you made a car to be a racing car, now a car is for a truck. You can't use a truck as a racing car and a racing car as a truck. You can do a little bit of adjustment, but they won't exist to serve the full purpose. The cycle of understanding the work of the soul is understanding how your soul interacts with other fields and energy sources in the universe and within the vicinity and within you. This is an art mankind has to learn. You can sell anything you like in respect to it, but if it doesn't work, if it's not at the strength of you, it does not work. And this is what all of us have to understand.
We have a question from Chris in the YouTube. When we listen to your teachings, do we receive it fully in our soul, even though our physical understanding is not coherent?
Yes. Yes, of course. This is what I say. We teach the soul of the man of space. You're part of that solar structure.
So if we have to hear things several times, it's for the physicality to catch on.
The soul has already been taught.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beauty of teaching this way. This is the beauty of understanding the knowledge this way. We touch the physicality and the soul at the same time.
Okay, we have a question from Wishful Thinking Mom in YouTube. Is Earth a matrix for us to learn and play, only perceived because of our physical senses? That way we can change what we want or perceive. Or is it predestined, like talks of end time prophecies? Did you understand that question, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, depends this wishful thinking mom what games she plays with her children on a console, isn't it?
So yeah, it seems like we have the choice of perceiving either way.
Yeah.
Either.
Some of the moms nowadays are better than children in playing games because they played the first series when it came out. You know how they know how to use the console and they know how to use this joystick better than the children. A bit rusty, but some moms are better nowadays.
Skywalker has a question. Will there be a Keshe application on the phone in the future? I would be happy.
Yes, most probably will. But what do you want to apply it for? Reach my soul. Or beat me up, Scotty.
The Beam Me Up Scotty app.
Yep.
That could work.
With the position and GPS, now you put the magnetic field strength and the gravitational field strength and the strength of the soul. You land next to your lover or your child. First in dimension of the soul and then transformation of physicality. The point is, in the universe, there are no schools and universities. The knowledge is transferred to the dimension of the strength of the soul according to the position, time, and desire. And this is where the University of the Universe is. The name of it goes with the sound of it. University, where the universe is. Collection of knowledges, whatever exists in the universe. And the soul of the man is a university on its own, and it has access to the all knowledge of the creation. It's just that according to the time, the space, and the manifestation, given knowledge is present unless you can tap into it. You always can tap to a higher order knowledge if the physicality is satisfied with the presence and position.
Doug had mentioned earlier in the Q&A, so the Universal Council is the same as the soul of the man, and the Earth Council is the same as the soul of the physicality in our earthly existence?
Collectively, yes. Now maybe you understand a little bit more, or you start understanding.
Okay, we have a question from Dan regarding inertia. He says, you said inertia in Tehran and New York, where I'm from. To find out the inertia of a place, do I take the earth from beneath me to make Gans to know the specific intensity of that place? How do I differentiate the cup of inertia from where I am with the inertia in Tehran? And further, is mass the difference between gravitational and magnetic, plasma mass, or mass of matter, me with 75 kilograms?
The inertia is collective energy of the matter state, including magma. The thickness of magma has a direct effect on the inertia, and then the matter states of it. And in so many planetary systems, the inertia is calculated on the liquid flow mass, the matter state mass as a solid. This is how you land in the liquid planetary system, and how you correct it. Then you'll find out that the thickness of magma, the speed of rotation, the speed of elevation in respect to gravitational magnetic field will create that condition. So when you want Tehran, partially, not only you calculate the inertia, but you calculate the field strength of the magma mass underneath, the flow rate of flow, because more or less partially majority of the field comes from the flow of the mass in that point and position. And all the magmas don't have the same thickness and the strength of flow across this planet. They move into channels, and the friction by the other magmas in different directions, the strength gives them different field strength, or different what we call inertias. So inertia of Tehran more or less can be calculated. We have technologies, we know exactly what it is, even which position in Tehran. We can go to that accurate. It's the same in the universe. You measure the strength of the field on the point of manifestation, we call it the inertia. Sometimes you create the inertia for yourself to manifest yourself. Next question.
Okay, we've got another question from Dan. Who's the one who manifests himself and talks when I remember my dreams of flying? It's my wish or a message of my soul?
Depends where you've been flying. Pardon?
He says, thanks again for all the clarifications you make with the voice box, besides the emotions and knowledge you give.
The existence of the soul in strength brings dimension of the emotion into reality of the existence. In a way, when we feel we have an emotion in our brain, or we manifest it in our physicality, is the interaction of the fields of the physicality, which gives the information which is coming through the soul. The soul continuously receives information or energy from all dimensions of the universe. Like man, it filters what is applicable to it at this moment of time here. It's no use for me to know what's happening in New York when I'm living in London, because rain, shine, whatever there is nothing to do with what I'm doing here and I live here. So it's the same with the soul. We choose the time, the place, and the manifestation of it, and to what purpose this is going to be used, and to what it's going to bring. And in that process, the field energies of the manifestation of the strength dictates in what we will see, what we will chase, what we will follow, what we will allow to be part of us, and which part of it we want to take, what suits us.
Okay, we have a question from Lee who asks, what happens to those who choose not to enter the Universal Body Enhancement Unit? If the majority of the population is evolved, what becomes of those who remain unchanged?
We've done a rough calculation. The enhancement units, if you make 1 million of them, and 50 people a year or 100 people a year can go in it, it's 100 million. Now you try to get 7 billion in it. Or we make it efficient that, let's say, 10,000 people a year can go in it. And then you have 1 million, you have a 10 million. So in essence, mankind has to learn to operate within its soul than operating with the enhancement units overall in the long run. And as we show and as we teach and as we use these systems, gradually more and more we come to understand how to elevate their own soul, how to elevate their own structure. And then we go into the next steps. And the position of elevation of the soul becomes part of the structure. You don't need to go into the enhancement unit once you learn. And maybe some people learn and they teach the others.
Freed had a question in the live stream previously. It was in regards when you were speaking about the enhancement units, and he says, so in other words, the most evolved community on Earth would be the right place to have the first public enhancement units?
Can you repeat that?
It says, so in other words, the most evolved community on Earth would be the right place to have the first public enhancement units?
Not really. This is what we discussed before. It has to be elevation of both. When we put a system in Africa, we put a system in Europe. But don't forget, there is a misperception that the Europeans are very clever, people are very rich. Even in Europe, we put it in the most deprived areas that are lower than the most backward parts of Africa. Not having physical value, what do you call it, things, does not mean you're not intelligent. And Africans are very intelligent people, or South Americans. And you find out some of the Europeans are more backwards than the backwards Africans. So it doesn't go that way. But we try to bring that elevation of the soul through the enhancement units become totality of the whole human race, and not exclusive of one race or that.
Dynamic Soul has another question in YouTube. What does it mean when we begin to experience more and more events in our physical life that are exactly how they happen in our dreams?
Don't we call this Back to Future movie, Rick?
Yeah, I guess that would apply.
Yep. Sometimes our dreams are foretold of what is to come in our physical life. And when it happens, we call it deja vu. And souls are aware of the changes to come, and they inform the physicality. And we see it, and we observe it.
There's a question from Steve in the YouTube, and it's becoming a popular topic nowadays, med beds. So when the US government talks about med beds, is it using the same technologies as yours?
No. Med beds is medical beds, and these are all to do with, first of all, we don't have a bed, we have a chair. And secondly, is the enhancement unit for elevation of the soul and physicality and understanding of the processes in the universe. I heard this med bed. This is not a medical bed. This is not. This enhancement unit is, if that's a med bed, then MRI is a very good med bed. World of Science hasn't got a word for this. That's why we call it universal enhancement. Universally enhances all cells of the body of the man. And then in the process to come, it enhances the knowledge of the man to the level of the universe, that you can transmute the energies of yourself to understand the existence in other dimensions. The name of it is wind. universal, enhances you to universal level if you wish to receive that.
I watched a 2-hour video on med beds recently to acquaint myself with them. And the ultimate result was the most advanced thing they could come up with, it seems, was having a laser scalpel and having precision surgery with this laser scalpel while you're held down by these special cushions on the so-called med bed. And I'm thinking how archaic that is, where you're cutting out organs basically, or cutting into the body with a laser. It just seemed really sort of ancient thinking compared to the enhancement unit and the whole technology of the plasma technology.
The part of this technology is what we understand, we develop, and in so many ways we create ourselves. But even when you go into these enhancement units, there are equipments and systems built to support as auxiliary for specific positions and conditions. Not it's all the same. And even these enhancement units were shown for cancer, for mental disease enhancements of the soul, and more or less systems should be specialized for given condition enhancement, which will reach maximum what we call performance.
No laser scalpels, Mr. Keshe?
We don't have laser in plasma technology yet. Maybe in the future, but not for this job.
Okay. I had a question from Skywalker about Gans, and is the same Gans from the winter period and summer period, how different are these two in structure?
Not much. Not much. The dimension of the position of the Earth does not really make much difference, because that's an environmental condition, very little effect. You are still in the same position, so you're impacted by the gravitational magnetic field and inertia of the same position. There's very little changes in temperature.
Okay, we have a concern from Antonio in the Q&A, who says, strange thing, Mr. Keshe, is as you speak, your words are like my words or thoughts, instantaneous, as if as you speak, it is coming from my soul, instant recognition. How can my soul know what you are about to say? And if this is so, then the dark forces would be aware of any new development or any new thought. And if this is so, then silence may be the only way to defeat those who wish to hold us back.
The processes, as I explained before, the voice comes from the information which is emanated from the soul of the man. And if you are of the same understanding and strength in certain conditions as there is no time, zero time and position. You hear the voice and your soul translates into the knowledge before the voice comes. Voice has to go through the conversion of physicality, where the soul receives it and understands it in the dimension of the field of the plasma of the universe. And that's what I said many times. He speaks in the word of the man, but the knowledge is spread across the universe to the center of the soul of the speaker. We teach the universal community. And maybe some humans gradually reach that point. Any other question? Shall we call it a day?
There is one more thing we should mention, which is Randy reminds me that there's an interview coming up with you, Mr. Keshe. The show is called A Night at the Round Table, and Mr. Keshe will be a guest, and it will start at, on Thursday, today at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which is the same as 4 a.m. Central European time. Sorry about that, Mr. Keshe.
And yeah, I've got to wake up early, don't I?
Might as well stay up all night. That's what I do in those circumstances.
You're a youngster. I'm much older than you, so. There's another point. Thursday the 29th, the teaching moves back to 2 o'clock for that day, as we had 4 weeks ago. The teaching on Thursday the 29th, not next to the Thursday after, is at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Central European time, and not the regular of 9 a.m. Central European time. Those of you who are contemplating in working or donating to different structures of the Keshe Foundation, please find out which country you're in and how you can do, or the country you want to support or help with the donation, with the enhancement unit or whatever. As we see the structures are coming up, like the Iranian Keshe Foundation, for any financial support, they have a bank account. Try to support them there. The Brazilian Keshe Foundation is coming up with their bank account. Try to support them there. These are organizations of the Keshe Foundation who can do help and support you locally, and relying less and less on the what we call the Keshe Foundation internationally in their work, in their way. The same is the Chinese Keshe Foundation. Those of you who want to support, get in touch with them and support them directly in either way you can. And as we said, the enhancement units, you can now participate. Go to this website directly and put what you want to it and say which country. Doesn't mean that you're going to pay 1 million. Just put, this is a part of my share for this country. And if you prefer a city, I prefer this city. And then we see collectively what the Universal Council decides. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day?
I think you've pretty much answered every question here, Mr. Keshe. So thank you very much for your time and attention once again today.
Remember, as of next week, we start teaching you how to start living in a dimension beyond the solar system. How you interact and how you have to change your position and everything else in that respect. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you very much for all knowledge seekers. There is one thing I have to say. I do apologize, but in a way, part of my private life has become, without us wanting, part of the Keshe Foundation life as it's been, and we've seen before, and now we see the same people from the same nationality doing the same thing. And somehow we try not to go back to this and keep away from it, but keep your life safe. And there's more to this movement by this lady than catches the eye. Keep your children, keep your wives and husbands safe under whatever name they come to you. Even they use the name of knowledge seekers we've seen in some communication. Knowledge seekers are those who seek the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation and not those who destroy the Keshe Foundation. And learn more, as now we are a lot more be done in the background, and we go in the process of the teaching of the deeper space travel, introduction of mankind to universal community, and a new knowledge and science that will bring new changes to all of us. This is a universal revolution, not an industrial revolution or scientific revolution. We are bringing the new knowledge of the universe to mankind, and with it will bring many changes which are unknown to man. The universal revolution is the fundamental change in every culture. When we get directly involved, we raise the level of the soul to what we call the highest level, as we see the race deserves to be elevated. And we see the human race in that position to elevate the soul of the man and the inhabitants of this planet together. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And thank you once again for yet another Knowledge Seekers Workshop here, 350th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, October 15th, 2020. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's workshop. And we'll see you next week at the same time and place. And we also have the One Nation, One Planet, One Race coming up on Tuesday of next week. What else? We have the private teaching. There'll be a soul teaching and the private student teaching on Monday as well. So thank you, everybody, for attending today's workshop, and we'll see you next time around. Bye for now.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate